10 seconds.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the View from the Dead Box. We are here leading up to the weeks and days and hours of the newest, fastest growing league out. The
The
MVP.
MVPS? Hey, that was pretty good. Wow, you're right. It is really weird not seeing your face.
I know.
Yeah, that really, you're right. I gotta get a new camera so we can both look at each other. Because
Yeah, since you're not on camera, I get to sit back naked in the
I mean,
in the
that is a
room.
plus though. You can just
Yeah,
be out cocking balls and all,
and not have to worry about it.
not have to worry about it.
I mean, you probably couldn't see mine on the camera anyways. You know what I mean?
No,
I
no,
had to
no,
zoom
no.
in a good bit, but it should be okay.
Yeah, it's definitely weird. But yeah, hopefully soon I'll get me a new camera. I lost
Sure,
that bitch to lightning, um,
lightning.
or something. I
So,
mean, I lost the power supply too, so it was weird.
so what'd you think of this weekend?
I mean, I don't think we had as many turnout as we thought. Like our entire Division 5 team, except for like three of them.
Well,
Like we had three of them show up.
yeah, I will say, I know three of them were down at the no, two of them were down at the SPL.
Who was down at that?
Um,
Carson?
Carson, Tucker,
Oh, and Tucker.
and
Okay.
yeah, and then I thought somebody else was down there with him. Maybe not. Oh no, I think Josh was actually supposed to be down there, and then I think he bailed on them and told them that he was supposed to be, I guess, trying out, for a main line again, and then didn't show up to this practice. So I'm not really sure what happened there.
Ooh, yeah.
And
Yeah,
he
that I
didn't
don't know.
reply. He didn't reply in the D5 chat either. He, so I don't know what's going on with that. But you had Murray, you had Rai,
Yep. Avery.
Hayden every other point basically. I think that's really
I
about it
think
because
there was like those four. Yeah,
Joey's
Joey
in
had
and out for
baseball.
baseball. Yeah, so
Which we knew. We knew Joey.
yeah,
So
he's in and out for baseball. So that's really about it, honestly. I know a lot of guys are trying out for that team,
yeah.
so we shall see how that goes. Trying to think what else. I think that's really about it on their side. We had a good lineup on ours. Frank the
Yep.
clown apparently got too hungover, didn't show, so I had to
Tisk tisk tisk.
shit in his mouth.
Was
Um,
Carson poop this weekend at the SPL?
he didn't finish first place, so
Okay.
you
Okay.
don't finish first in D5 event, you dog shit.
Fair enough.
Um,
Fair enough.
especially playing the SPL. It's a cakewalk league and for
Ooh.
D5. You should be able to like
Yikes.
you should be able to like shoot this guy's like one hand with like fucking goggles over your mask that are like fucking spray painted black. Um, what else
That's
happened this
funny.
week? Tryouts. This weekend was a pretty big weekend, man, because they had the Pro Invitational in Florida, right?
Yep.
They had the 10-man event in Florida, in Hudson, Florida. Not really sure
Yep.
what Hudson is. I'm not sure if it's down there near
Uh,
Orlando or not, but
I don't know.
Hudson, Florida. Then you had the SPL in Orlando. Then you had our tryout, which some of our guys were kind of split up between all those different places.
Yeah.
So it's definitely, man, it's just been all over. This month was very packed for events, and all happened to land mainly on the same weekend.
Yeah, Hudson is north of Tampa. Like
Oh,
it's
so
it's on the
near
Gulf.
Orlando.
Yeah,
So
but
near,
it's still more Gulf. But yeah, I
okay,
mean it's roughly all that is probably an hour from Orlando, an hour from Tampa. I just did a
uh,
quick Google search.
Google's our friend, dude.
Google is my friend. I use
Google
Google
helps
at
us out
work.
so much. I was curious about how the what you call it was going to be, how the 10-man was going to be, because that was another. I think it's a three-field thing as well again.
I believe
Where the,
so. Yep.
and I was very curious how that was going to turn out. I didn't hear anything on it really, so I didn't was waiting to hear it.
Yeah, I
Um,
didn't look too much. I know I did talk to Jamie.
yeah,
Obviously not this podcast, but he definitely wants to get on so we can go over like some of the pro player
yeah.
transactions and his
Well,
thoughts on like a season and stuff like that. So
last week, what you call it? Stro was like, "Man, you guys suck at talking about pro paintball." I'm like, I'll be honest, I like don't follow a lot of pro paintball. Like,
yeah, I don't either.
as weird as that sounds, I honestly don't. Um, I just kind of like do my own thing. I really
Yeah.
don't. I really don't pay attention to what they do. I'm not sure if that's good or not, but I definitely just let them do their own shit. Um,
I'm 1000% there with you. But I know we did all see that coaching change.
Yikes! Big
Did
yikes!
you say yikes? I think it's cool. I don't
Uh,
know
I
how
think
well it'll do, but I just think it's cool.
that's what happens when you get fired by Die, right? So
Okay, fair enough. So, who is it? Who was he coaching? Was it Houston Heat? Is that who it
now,
was?
yeah, now it no, now he's now he's Heat. So
So it's Todd Martinez. He's the coach of Heat now. For those of y'all who don't know, I'm sure 90% of listeners realize that have seen the post too.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So obviously we're recording the day or two after that, but I think it's neat because I always liked Todd as a player, like watching him, and I talked to him obviously at events here and there, nothing crazy, but yeah,
He's
I don't know. I think he's neat. I used to like his. There's a video on YouTube of him somewhere talking about having a myth reg barbecue back in the day. And it's like just super
Reg
fucking fun.
barbecue.
It's super fucking funny. Just gotta look that up on YouTube. It used to be there. I'm sure it still is.
Jesus.
But so I'm gonna hit you with something that you will have more knowledge. And over the podcast as we've been doing this, I'm sure we've hit on some of this stuff.
Okay.
But either yesterday or today, I saw your dad put a picture on Facebook, and it's something he shared from like this time last year. And he had a picture of a bunch of old school players from Georgia Extreme. Was that the? I know you're the only one. You're the oldest that is still here currently. That was on
Yeah.
that, and that picture had to be 2000. I mean,
No, that picture. That picture had to be probably. I think it's 2004 because we're
okay,
shooting, Angels and Timmys and stuff like that.
okay,
Uh,
yeah,
and
okay. Let me. Yeah, I'm re-looking at this
we had
picture
some
now.
DM4s in there. So I want to say it was like 04, 05 is that picture was taken. That's not that's all right. That's probably 80% of the original roster, maybe 90% of the original roster.
Okay,
We had some coming guys and come and go, but that was a lot of the main original people that we played most of the events with. Um, the main picture would have probably been around that 2001, 2002 era.
okay.
We've been playing since like 2000 roughly, maybe a little bit before that. But 2000, 2001 was kind of our bigger years. But 2004 was our main, like our best year for the NX for PSP. So I almost said NXL.
Yeah, right.
But so I think that picture was that 2003, 2000, or sorry, 2004, 2005 season. Was probably that picture was because you can just tell by the gear we're wearing, which is crazy because Courtney wore that jersey this weekend, and it was actually the jersey that was in those pictures.
I was gonna ask if that was St. Jersey because I just noticed the blue evil.
Yep.
I'll definitely post this picture up on the Facebook page for anybody wanting to see it because you can see the only one I see of US is the big main one on the bottom left.
I
Correct?
think I'm I think I'm there, and then I'm behind that. I think maybe. Let me see. I think I have it right here. Um, I'm there, and then I'm at the very. If you look, are you looking at the picture?
Yeah, I'm
If
looking
you
at it
look
right now.
I'm at the top middle too. I have
Oh
a,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I see you.
with
I
the
see.
halo. I have a 2K2 Shock Tech Timmy, probably my one of my most favorite guns, with a Halo smoke glitter is the color, and it's a smoke glitter Halo B. So I had there. I always have halos in that picture. Going with the players on the top right, if you're
Okay.
looking,
Are you gonna count down?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So on the top right, that's Chris Mack, who has actually shared the original one, Chris McNamara.
Okay.
Uh, that's a black to cobalt fade DM4 with a halo. Then below that is John Sparks, Little John.
I don't
Um,
know if I ever met Little John. I met Chris Mack before.
Yeah, so that's Little John Sparks. He had a Silver Angel Speed
Hmm.
LCD forever, and then we switched. Finally, he had spikes all over it. Came from California. We switched him into Matrix, and then that's a blue polished DM4, which is very rare at the time. And bottom left of him is Graydon Chapman, which is shooting a black, yellow. I think it's a Joy Division G7, I believe, Angel
I
G7.
think you're right. I believe. Okay, I'm gonna take a guess in here. That's Powell below Graydon, right?
Correct to the
And
right.
he's also shooting an angel. It looks like.
Yeah, I think that's a black to blue fade Angel G7. It's very hard to tell in those pictures, obviously.
Yeah, I think you're
Uh,
correct though.
but yeah, and then yeah, so that's basically our main five. So that was our five guys, those four, and then me. and then
You
dad
guys,
obviously being the coach in the middle, obviously.
yeah.
So yeah, that's our five people right there.
I mean, and the
That's
three of y'all, like you, Graydon, and Powell, I obviously grew up playing with. Like, I started showing up, not playing on a team or anything, probably 2005, 2006. And it was by 2006, I was playing like probably once a month. Like, it was more, you know what I mean? It wasn't playing like once or twice a year. It was playing a relatively good amount. And then 2007 or 2008 is when the first tournament I played with the Project X, once I had finally moved on up. So that's crazy.
that's wild.
I mean, so this picture isn't quite 20 years old, but it's damn close to it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That is crazy.
It's insane, dude. We've, a lot of the guys have been playing for a long time. Um,
So, so how many of these guys were like on the squad before this? Because I mean, obviously, it's gone through many generations of
what do you mean?
players. Like, because there was a team before this, technically, right? Like a Georgia Extreme team, or was this like the first that
Yeah.
actually used the Georgia Extreme name?
Yeah, this is. I mean, they're very close. There was only about two other players that played with us through that time that weren't
Okay.
really with us. Um, Joe, which we talked about Joe before, and then Jeff Thomas, Joe Ellisor and Jeff Thomas play with us. The original team
Okay.
forever ago, and they actually, well, Joe played with us for a while, but Jeff played on a different team, which actually played out of the Diving Locker Ski Chalet in Savannah.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
they all had to warp fed mags at the time, and they all play with those fucking guns, and they would play our 3-man events here, and then they kind of slowly um, got beat up on and picked apart. And
Yeah.
most of the Cullums went here, went there, and Jeff stayed with us. And Jeff and Joe were kind of good friends, and then but we all just became friends really. Um, then once, then obviously the new blood came in, the old blood kind of, slowed
Yeah,
down.
fades away.
Yeah, so because they were like 35 at the time, probably at least when they were like just getting going.
Yeah.
So 10 years, 8 years, 10 years playing that, they're like mid 40s,
Oh yeah,
um,
it wears on you.
late 40s maybe. So they're done, because it just catches up to you, really.
So what about these sponsors at the bottom? I see First Call, which
Yep,
you guys
Bobby.
still had First Call. He treated us very well up until he basically went out of business, I guess.
Yeah, Bobby always took care of us. He actually is really back into the sport, super heavy again.
Yeah.
What he's doing now is um, he actually owns two, I think two field, maybe three. Definitely owns Chesapeake Paintball, I believe,
I
in
believe so
Virginia,
too.
which
Yeah.
is one of the like prime fields up in the Northeast. And then I think he owns another one as well. But it's crazy because he just said that he got tired of dealing with all the back and forth stuff with all the other vendors and get gear, and then floating all the money for the all the like stock just sitting there. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So it's just I see him at every national event. He hangs out with the NRG guys,
Yeah.
and obviously a lot of the guys that play with the NRG. So I always kind of see him hanging around there because I think that's their home field that they play out of, is his home field actually.
That would
Um,
make sense. I didn't think about that. You're probably right. Yeah.
yeah. Um,
And what's that other one? I can't quite read it. I know the logo.
Dicky's down there.
Stiffy, yeah, Stiffy and Evil. But what's the? I'm gonna say green and red. I
Oh,
can't
it's
read
not.
it.
Well,
Is
that's
that
for
national?
National Paintball Supply.
That's
Yeah,
what I thought. I couldn't quite tell, but yeah,
yeah. That's the I think of GI now, basically, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
And then yeah, Stiffy. I mean, we all had Switch kits for years and years, and then Evil.
Trying
That
to
is,
think.
that is wild.
Trying to think. If there's any other ones I can really think of off the top of my head. Um,
And I know I talked to Graydon early on when we were doing the podcast, and I want to get
yeah.
him on, but I want to, if there's a way to do him and Powell same time, do a
Yeah, I'm sure we
full,
can get both of them on. It's probably not a
yeah,
problem.
because they both, like I said, the three main people I learned from were you and those two. So,
Yeah.
and a lot of the other guys that play with us now, I mean, like Jamie, Gordon, Can. I guess that's really it. The four of us, and well, your brother too. Technically, he doesn't play much anymore, but all kind of learned from the three of y'all, and
Yeah.
we're probably the last main ones that are still around playing
Yeah, because
now for the most
Jamie
part.
gave it up for a while.
Yep, Jamie took a good 8 year hiatus probably.
Probably more than that.
Yeah, I
No, it
mean
might be more than that.
it might be more than that. It was probably yeah. I mean it was probably almost a 10 year hiatus. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and then Shane was on and off for a while because of traveling back and forth. You
Yep.
can't.
Yeah, we basically have him at the beginning of a season, lose him in the summer, and then he'd come back. He'd play with. He had a team. He would always say, "Yeah, I go play with them in the summer and play with you." We're like, "Oh yeah, we know." We're like, both teams probably fucking hate it because we lose a
Yeah.
guy. They lose a guy for 6 months. We lose a guy for 3 months, but it's like middle season for us, and it's they're getting a new guy for a middle season for them. I'm like, that's just bad all the way around.
Yeah, that was always and it was always a small turnout at Dadsfield, unless we were
Oh yeah,
bringing teams. So we needed like every single person there just to get a good practice or scrimmage in. You know what I mean? If not, it was so flighty. It's so crazy.
yeah.
Compared
Well,
to like
same. I was telling someone at the field this past weekend about we always had Nick. We would hold a spot for him every time he deployed.
yeah,
Now, granted, we like we said we didn't have a lot of people, so it wasn't like we had a million people trying to take his spot. But sometimes he'd come back and he would be the sixth guy. And at the
yeah,
time, we could go play a GFOA with 5 people. We didn't need the extra man. So
yeah.
I was always like, Dave. And then normally someone wouldn't have money and would flake out or whatever. So he always
Surprise,
was like,
surprise.
I got money, I can join on in. But yeah, it is crazy how small that field was and how many people that played there still play. Like,
Yep.
because paintball in our area, there isn't anything, and I'm sure it's like this in a lot of places. It's only us, but we
Yeah.
all came from the smallest place. Like,
I know we talked about it before about like the drills we had to do and stuff compared to like how kids have it now,
oh yeah,
because you see kids now that they can don't have to take too much time, and they're basically jumping right into D4
yep,
and higher with like no issues. But the way's already been paved for them. You know what I mean?
yep,
Like fields and like videos and other teams are there and drills are set up, organization is around that. We didn't have it. We were inventing that basically
yep,
as we were going, which is a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing that I have all that now that I can like pass that down to other people. But it sucks in the same aspect that um, like a lot of our guys have over the years have hit a wall where they can't really go too much higher. You know what I mean? Like they're basically done, just because they had to grind to where they were going in the beginning,
yep.
and were playing themselves. You know what I mean? So it's so much harder to get like really good when you're playing yourselves the entire time, all the time. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I'm not sure if that makes sense or not.
No, I mean I got it. I'm hopefully everyone's smart enough they can understand that.
Yeah,
'Cause,
I've always said the same thing about like teams that are had the luxury of playing a lot better teams, get a lot better, a lot faster. And that's always been like we've always said we're like been geographically challenged. It's
yep.
always sucked, you know.
And it's the same reason I'm seeing we're seeing a lot of leagues do it now. Not all of them, but more the whole blind layout thing. I think that helps, and I've said this a million times. You'll always hear me be 100,000% for blind layouts, but I think that helps the teams that come from these smaller fields because then you can practice your fundamentals. You don't
Yeah,
have to practice just learning the layout. You know what I mean? Which
yeah,
I don't know. Like we had Matt Davies on the podcast, and he said he likes the grind of learning the layout, which I think that's one way to look at it too. I
yeah,
like just knowing I can go to a field and I can practice my snap shooting, my closing out a game, and no matter what field I'm on, for the most part, I'm going to close out a game the same way.
yeah,
I'm gonna play like every field will play different, but there's basic things you're gonna do, and then after that, you just have to learn the field. And I think it shows the better team learning it on the fly, like just that morning, or even like I said, if
well,
you give me the layout Friday night,
some of the events are going to that. Like
yeah,
I think MSXL is doing it. So
I think so. I know I've been seeing a lot with the Tennessee X Ball League. I think they're a new
what's
league
with
this
that? I
year.
never heard of that.
No, I believe they're new. I think this is their first year. I've seen a lot with them. I think I saw where they're doing a blind layout too. Don't quote me. Um, and we know CPSL did some blind layouts last year. I don't know if they said they're going to do all blind layouts this year or not. Yeah, I don't know, but I know that's our
Mhm.
blind layout tangent we always have to cover.
Every time I feel like we talk about it every single podcast.
We do. We have. I mean, I way I see it is if I can keep saying it, maybe
It'll
eventually
grow.
everybody will just have blind layouts. Like I'm just
Yeah.
gonna beat the shit out of that dead horse.
And just ride it in.
Absolutely. So, yeah, that was. I just wanted to hear a little bit of the history of the Georgia Extreme
Dude,
before I got there, because I mean, like I said, it's. I can't say for sure it's the oldest, and I'm using these in very loose quotation marks, oldest paintball organization in Georgia, but it's probably damn close.
yeah,
Like I don't
there's
see a
really
lot of the
not.
other teams that we used to play, like in 2008, 2009,
No, most
who
of them are all
had,
gone.
yeah, they're all like. I mean, Legion of Doom was a team we played all the time. Well, maybe the Desolators. I think they're still around.
Decided weren't around in 2000 and 2002.
No, they weren't then. But you know what I mean. But that's, I mean, even the teams from 2008 aren't here anymore. And
Yeah,
that's, I mean, that's over 10 years ago, but it's not 20 years ago.
yeah, exactly.
So,
I'm trying to think of any. Um,
and a lot of the main fields are still around. Like Billy Low Country Paintball's been around forever. Classic's been around forever. Big Indian's been around in some form or another forever. Um,
yeah, because I think Big Indian used to be.
was that Thunder Valley?
It was. I think we talked about this before. I think it was Thunder
Yeah,
Valley because Adrenaline Army used to be out there all the time.
yeah. So that's what I
Um,
mean. Like some of those are like your main fields in this area, and Hoppers now where we play now has been around for over 10 years. So, and your dad's field would probably still be around if we decided to play there. But
yeah,
it's just crazy to think. Like I don't know, just Georgia has a weird thing with paintball. There are still so many of the same old players. Like when we go to like we talk about Nitro, which has recently closed down, but I see the same people up there that I've seen
everywhere.
10 years ago.
They travel together.
Yeah,
And I've always said this. I'm like the players have always traveled together. Like hey man, we're switching fields. I'm like all right, cool. See you there.
yep,
You know what I mean? They always have always moved together, which is good. To an extent. I don't. I've never seen a team go somewhere and it's usually when one team goes there, there's only like two or three teams at the field to begin with. So they try to somewhat stick together so they can have good practices. When
yeah,
you all divide up, then you typically find yourself playing against each like just yourself that weekend. And
yeah.
that's the worst part about the entire thing. And I've always said the same shit. I'm like, it sucks to be playing against yourselves the entire time, 24/7. You know what I mean? Um, but
And like
other
we said, that's always been our downfall.
yes.
Like really and truly, it is. We've always had to travel to get any sort of scrimmage time. Like,
And I think I mean there's not really much you can do about it. Um,
no, not at all.
if you want to play like that's really all there is.
No. Did
Trying
you
to
have a topic, sir?
yeah, I want to talk a little bit about the paint issues or say paint issues. Do you think that when fields
Word
should
this
be
carefully.
yeah, I'm trying to. Do you think the fields should be switched to winter blend that are in the south? You know what I mean? That don't typically have too much cold, or do you think it's better just to let the teams
If you're
just kind of
still above the frost line, yes.
what do
Like,
you I mean, what do you
I,
consider acceptable?
I mean, where we're at, I think you need winter blend paint for 2 months. I think
Yes,
you need it January and February.
okay.
I think the rest of the year you could have a summer blend ball. It'd be perfectly fine. I
Okay.
don't know how many field owners understand that, and this is not a knock at any field I've ever played at because it's
Yeah.
happened at multiple. Like it's not just one specific field.
Okay.
Um, and this is gonna go on. I think if there's not enough, this might go off topic a little bit here. Most of the field owners I've played at within the past 5 years were not owned by a player, so
Yeah.
I don't think they understand that.
Okay.
And I think that's the problem. I think more players, whether they're old players, and I would say most time old players need to be helping these field owners or creating their own fields. I think that's better for the environment in general, and that'll fix your paint issues. And I think that would go back to the whole hashtag grow paintball would help with that also. But yes, Definitely any field in Georgia. The only place you could probably get away with not switching to a winter ball is probably Florida and maybe parts of lower, like super South Texas. That would really be about it. Maybe Southern California
Well,
too.
you look at I don't know why I can't think of his name. God damn it. What is his name?
Give me a hint. Where's he at?
Jacksonville. I can't think
Oh,
of his name right now.
Alex Bayside.
No, yeah, it's Bayside. It's not Alex though.
Yeah, Zach.
Zach. You look at Zach's field. That's like full player owned. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And that one's a now. Is there the field that's in Tallahassee? Is that what that is? I think it's Tallahassee. The first strike. Is that what that field is
I
over
think
there?
that's Gainesville.
Gainesville. Sorry,
Is
Gainesville. It
that
is
a
Gainesville.
private? I think that's a private field, or it
I'm
might.
not sure.
No, First Strike isn't a private field, but there's a private field there as well.
Yeah, I think that's owned by either owned by Lucas. In that, I think that's his name, right? Lucas Blitch. Is that the? We talked to Alex about having him on one weekend.
Oh yes, I believe so. Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes,
so
yes.
I think Lucas played for a long time too. So that's another player owned field, and you could see like typically how fields are player owned.
Yeah,
I think have a head up like in the race. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Because they typically know what they're going through, what the players are bitching about and complaining about. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Uh, I think it works so much better out that way.
And it's not a knock against because I understand it is a business and you can make money in it. But I think a lot of players that go into it know there isn't as much money to be made, but they will give their customers a better experience.
Yeah,
And I
I mean,
think that's better in general for the sport. Like I know, I don't know. It's a weird thing to me because, like I said, I knew this was going to get off of the whole winter ball thing, but I think they're tied. I think you'll see a lot of these fields do better if they were owned more by old players or players that are currently playing. Which I bet that's a fucking clusterfuck. I can't imagine trying to play on a tournament team
no,
and
yeah, I mean,
having a
but Zach, I think he bounces around to do it a lot.
yeah
He's back and forth with it, the same way. And I've always said that I'm like, I don't know if I could own a field and
yeah.
play. I don't think you can.
I don't think you can either. And it's always been something like up until recently, and I might change my mind again one day. I was always like I wouldn't mind having a private field. But again, I think even if I have a private field, I guess I'd be fine with just a speedball field
Yeah,
because I wouldn't be looking at it to make money. I would be looking at it as a place where I could have use Georgia Xtreme for an example. They could practice out of there, and then like they could invite so and so to scrimmage, and I could make little side money like that. But again, I know it wouldn't be $1 million, and it would be more. So I had a place to play paintball, and my
yes,
friends would have a place to play paintball. And I know, okay, I can do this. I sell a skid of paint. I come out with $300 or whatever it is. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be to make money. It
yeah.
would be to have a thing. And I think that's how a lot of the
I mean, because
players.
I mean, like, we've talked about it before. Like speedball is not where the money is. Like that's
Absolutely not. Nope.
it's and it never will be.
Never will be.
Okay.
It's not going to happen. We again, we are pampered players. We want the best grass, the best paint, and the best like bunkers on the fucking dollar store prices. Like
Oh,
that's
oh,
what we want.
yep.
And the worst part is there are so many me and you know a decent amount of people like on the lower end of the industry.
Yeah,
So we know the cost of some of these items. So
yeah,
when we go to fields that aren't owned by if I go to a field that's owned by a player, I feel like I get a better deal. And I you know what I mean? Like my paint doesn't cost as much. Because
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah.
not you know what I'm saying? Like but if I go to a field that's not owned by a player, I might pay a couple more dollars and I'm like, but I know what this guy paid. And I would rather give I don't want to say prices because it'll
Yeah.
sound even worse. But I go to a player and he's charging me $5 to $10 less a case. I still know he's making a little bit, not a lot, and I'm giving him money and I'm giving it to a player, and I feel like that is better for the sport than me giving it to someone who is doing a business. I
Yeah,
don't
no,
know.
I mean,
It's so hard to say this without sounding like a complete ass because I want everybody to make money.
yeah.
But
I mean, and we're fortunate that the field we're at now has been taking care of us. So but I can see at other teams or at other fields are that complain and bitch and whine, you know what I mean, about not being
Yeah.
taken care of, or playing there for so long, you know what I mean, and then not being taken care of. And we've got lucky that we've slowly pushed our way into here, and then we've been being taken care of, as of lately. So it's definitely
Yeah.
temporary.
We, we came from areas where, I mean, obviously your dad was a field owner, and I'm very close to your dad too. Your dad treated us very good.
Yeah, dad never made
So,
any
no.
rules, obviously, right?
Yeah, it's I don't know, it's crazy. It's wild to me. I don't know. It's a weird topic tonight. I didn't know how we were going to go with
It's
this.
going all over the place, baby.
We are going all over the place. A little bit of GA Xtreme, a little bit of how field owners treat their players, even field owners that are private or I don't want to say for profit or not profit. That sounds fucked up too. It's like talking about organizations. I don't think I've really ever been treated terrible at a place, but I just, in general, what I was thinking is I played better. I feel like I was treated better at places that were owned by players, I guess is how I should do it. And
Okay.
that's how I got from the whole winter ball, summer ball conversation.
That makes sense.
So players start owning fields. And then if you live in Georgia, get winter ball for 2 months. That's it. And then the rest of that, you can shoot summer ball because everyone knows we have 90-degree Christmases here.
90-degree Christmases.
I mean, is that my quote of the night?
90-degree Christmases. I think we might have had one of those or two of those around here. So that's awesome.
Yeah, no, we get them every fucking year, it feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what about you? How do you feel on the whole winter and summer fill?
I think that we've been struggling with paint here the last few weeks.
It's been slightly frustrating.
Well, in the summer, the paint we had was bouncing off players with one bunker away. Like people getting bunkers bouncing. Now we're having a problem shooting a stream of paint and then not breaking 15 or 20. So, and it's just fragile. They're dropping it from like the knee height and they're all breaking, which is so like, you're like, damn, man, it's so nothing much you can do about it, really. You know what I mean? You just have to kind of push through it.
What would you rather? Would you rather have the ball bounce off the guy, or would you rather?
In the winter, I'd rather have a harder paint just because it's gonna fragile up. So the harder paint will get fragile in the winter. You know what I mean? So you don't have to really worry about that too much. So that's typically never an issue. Trying to think what else you would really need on this.
Yeah, I mean, well, in general, I've talked about. I think I said some of this at the paintball field. I was saying I would rather have paint that shoots straight and can be as hard as a fucking rock. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, obviously I want paint to break on people, but if I'm practicing, I just want to know my shot is there. That I'm coming off the box, my first 7 balls are right where they need to be.
Yep.
Because obviously I play more in the back, and I just pride myself at coming off the box as quick as anybody else. So I need my shots to be there every time. And these past couple weekends, I'm shooting people, and they're going, "Oh, I see your paint," but it's all over because the third ball into the stream, I broke it. So it's like, well, okay, I'm breaking paint in a force. We're breaking it in luxes. I mean, I don't think
everything
CSs. So it's not a gun issue. It's just been a paint issue, and not a knock at anybody's field because a lot of them are like this. A lot of places can't afford to keep their paint stored and climate controlled. Like it's just expensive if someone's going to run an AC unit all day, but it would be good for their customers if you could run AC or heat, whatever you need to keep it at 75 degrees in that room. You know what I mean? Or 70 degrees, whatever it is. Because I even this past weekend, I took some of the paint out, warmed it up, let it sit in the sun for a little bit, and it shot better.
It did. I literally set our paint outside and let it just cook.
Yep.
For like, I'm trying to think how long we let it cook. It cooked for a while.
Yeah, mine was about an hour. After I broke the first 2, I stopped playing for a little bit and started doing some grading, and I was like, I'm going to put these bags out and let them warm up. And it shot, like I said, it was shooting significantly straighter, and I wasn't breaking, but I was like, I just had to sit out 5 points to let my paint heat up. Like, yeah, it's been an adventure these past few weeks. Hopefully, like I said, I know we won't have a problem with paint at the MVPS because it'll be correct. Either, like I said, it's in Florida, so you can probably get away with a winter ball all year round. I don't live there to know for sure, but I would believe that's the case in most parts of Florida. And it's a tournament. Like, we've had Alex on here, but he always hosts good tournaments anyway. So he's going to get the right paint for the environment we're going to be in. So I don't have to worry about that by any means. Boom. We were wild tonight.
Yeah, dude. Everywhere. Whoever wants it can get it.
Whoever wants it can get it.
Get the smoke. Who wants
Get the smoke? I know I did. You didn't play with that twister this weekend. Was it because it was so much paint breaking, or?
Yeah, I didn't feel like cleaning that because every gun was breaking paint, and I was like, I honestly wanted to go back to the Lux because I felt like I was just shooting my Lux just so much better to me.
Yeah.
And I did. I went back and like, what? I mean, what's that first point I played?
Oh yeah. Did you get a 4-pack or something?
5-pack.
5-pack.
It, you know what I mean? Like first point of the day, 5-pack with it. It's like, and it was a 1-on-3 at the end, and I still clutched that. So I'm like, all right, I love the DO4. It shoots amazing, but I just naturally shoot the Lux just better to me.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. I would do the same thing. I think I would totally like if I picked up a gun, no matter what it was, even if I picked up a gun that was like a couple years old and I shot everything with it, I'd be like, well, I guess I'm using that fucking old piece of shit. But that's awesome.
That's the way it is, dude.
Well, I liked it. Did you have anything else you want to talk about, sir?
I think that's it.
I think that's it.
I brought a few topics into there.
You did. I'm happy with you too. Or happy for you. Happy with you. Happy about it.
Dude, we're happy for each other, dude.
We're happy for each other, dude.
Yeah, dude.
All right. Well, I'll go ahead and take us out of this thing.
Yes, sir.
So thanks everybody for hold on before I do that. We were well, that too. I fucked it up a little bit because my brain was thinking about something and my mouth was trying to speak something. I listened to the end of the last podcast and we were fucking dying laughing when we ended it, and I don't remember why at this point. But when I re-listened to it afterwards, I was like, "Holy fuck, that was the funniest thing to me." Probably nobody else, but just to me.
For what?
I don't remember what we said. It was the previous podcast. It was just something happened, and I just like carried it out on the exit, and then like after I cut the podcast, all you hear is me and you like fucking children straight giggling, and there's nothing funny about it. That's just like at the end we just laughed for like 10 seconds afterwards. I'm like, what the fuck happened?
Now that you say that, I'm trying to think about it.
Yeah, well, I probably have to look back at the before I edited it because it's not on the podcast. You might hear a giggle like start right at the end. Yeah, it's the craziest thing. I was like, normally we only giggle in the beginning like children.
Yeah, and that's just to like get it ramped off because I know there's usually some bloopers coming.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to do a blooper reel.
I haven't had bloopers.
I'll work on a blooper. I'll work on a blooper reel. We'll do like a Wednesday episode that'll just be straight bloopers.
Oh God.
I know that'll be it won't be every blooper. That's for damn sure.
Some goes out of there.
But all right, I will take us out of this. Thank you all for listening, watching. Because even though there's no cameras, I'll probably still put this on YouTube if I feel like it. I don't know. But watching, listening, shit ton of people keep liking the page. We appreciate it. More and more people are listening, and we will see you guys on the next one. Peace out.
Bye.